How dare you? I haven't even said the word poop yet and she's already laughing. Welcome everybody to tonight's off-road workshop. My name's Chris. Tonight is a very important topic, arguably probably the most important one we've covered to date, I would say. We're going to talk about making the mission of using the potty in the backcountry a little bit more civilized, just a better experience, and more fun. Why not? Enjoy the go. That's somebody else uses that tagline. We'll probably get sued for that. But anyway, when you're out camping, there's a barrier of entry for some people, of kind of like a fear of like, how the heck do I do my business out in the middle of nowhere when there's no facilities? Like, we're talking like dispersed camping, or you're backpacking and there's no like outhouse or pit toilet or whatever, and you're just like, it's kind of keeping me from wanting to go out and explore. And it shouldn't, because tonight we'll go over the ways and the tools and the techniques and the methods. So the first thing is you want to have a system that's easily portable, that actually works, that you've actually tried and used at home preferably, so then if it doesn't work and you have a mess, you can deal with it. But you want to have a method that is tried and true and tested, that you can bring with you out in the backcountry. And that's going to be slightly different for every person, depending on their comfort level and their needs and whatever, and that's okay. So we'll kind of go from the absolute. We'll start with the pure basics, and we'll kind of build up to a little bit more of the luxury accommodations for the full commode out there. So the absolute basics. When you're camping out in the backcountry, you've got really two options, and that kind of depends on where you're camping. Some places require you to pack out human waste. A good example is the Rubicon Trail. Very popular four-wheel drive trail. It's all on like solid rock. So you can't dig a hole anywhere if you tried, unless you have, blasting dynamite and that kind of stuff. So they require you to carry out your human waste, and then you dispose of it. They have a big dumpster at the end of the trail, or you can keep it and take it home with you if you're weird, but you got to pack it out. So that's an option, and you're thinking, how the heck am I going to do that? It's like, I've done it with my dog, and that's kind of gross. I have a baggie system, and we kind of reach in and do the thing, and you tie the knot, and right? The answer is it's kind of the same as you would with your dog. So there's things called biodegradable bags. And what's nice about biodegradable bags is they're biodegradable. You can actually use this and bury it, and it will biodegrade, and it's fine to do. But you can also use it to carry out your waste, tie it up, seal it. I would double bag it personally, just to be safe, and then dispose of it in a proper receptacle when you get out back into town. But so you can bag it, or if you're in a place that allows you to, you can bury it. The shovel is such a handy tool, isn't it? I mean, you can use it for digging sandcastles. You can use it for digging out your friend's truck because they are bonehead and they got stuck. And you can use it for digging holes to poop in. So really handy, the shovel. The shovel is also not just for digging holes. You can get, we don't have dirt here, so it's kind of hard to demonstrate, but you can also get that thing stuck in the ground nice and good. And I've seen people here, get some clips or some arms and things, and you can actually hook a piece of toilet paper off of the side of this if you wanted to. I built this contraption here to sort of simulate the idea here, but there's ways, this is more of kind of a pro level, kind of, upper echelon, really experienced, kind of high-end, high-speed sort of setup. But, you've got an articulating arm here, so you can camp this in any form or fashion, and you can adjust the height here depending on your comfort level to deploy your paper as needed. But you can also rig that up off of the shovel planted in the ground. So the shovel just makes a good thing to use that. You can also use it as a handle to get up and down with. No laughing, you guys. You can't laugh at this. This is serious. My entire audience is literally peeing their pants laughing right now, but that's okay. We can talk about peeing too. But anyway, digging a hole is a great way to go about it. Right? You can dig a hole, put it in a biodegradable bag, and carry it out. If it's, again, back to kind of like the Rubicon Trail or places like that where you physically can't dig a hole, but they still require you to pack out, that's where sort of the next tier comes, and that's where like a portable toilet system really comes in handy. There's all different kinds out there, and there's sort of just different styles and different, designs, but there's kind of two basic methods. One is literally just a seat for you to sit on comfortably and securely, and you can put a biodegradable bag on it, right? Or there's your kind of more traditional like chemical toilet style. A lot of these come in like little camper trailers and stuff. People will call them cassette toilets, lots of different names. But the basis is you do your thing. There's a secondary tank that has some sauce in it. This is not Kool-Aid, don't drink it. But the sauce helps break down the waste and make it not stinky and not nasty. And then if you get to like a dump station, like an RV dump station for a trailer or whatever, you can empty your cassette toilet and that sort of thing. And that keeps everything kind of contained and not sloshing around and getting nasty as well. So two kind of really good styles to go about it. Our tried and true and favorite here is honestly the bush toilet. I just like the fact that it packs down to literally that size to transport, slide it under the seat. It's got a little handy carrying bag, and it's just nice and compact. But it's got a 400-pound weight rating on it, so it's it can handle some work if you need to bear down on it. The key with it though is when you set it up, just make sure you're kind of locked in and everything's sort of deployed properly, because you don't want to. The last thing you want to do is be sitting down and all of a sudden you're kind of start listing to one side and then over you go. That's no good. We don't want that. So obviously we're going to clean ourselves with some products. At the very minimum, bring a roll of TP, and I'm a big fan of baby wipes. Not because of my maturity level, but because of the fact that, gosh dang, sometimes you just need a little wet wipe to get the job done. But yeah, a good set of wet wipes is handy to have, and a roll of TP. I like keeping it in a plastic bag, and this just kind of tucks away in the back of one of my seats in my truck. So that way this doesn't get, all nasty and gross. And, if I need to, if I've got a bad emergency, I can grab it out of the back seat of the truck and go running for my life. And I can just throw that on the ground and, do my thing, and then I can pick up the pieces and be good to go. So definitely at the minimum, obviously bring some toilet paper or bring some wet wipes. Now, if you get desperate, and sometimes, this one's getting a little low, so that's, depending on what the dietary experiences were on the trip, that may be not enough for the trip. So, if you get desperate and you're just like, holy moly, I'm out of toilet paper and we're still like out in the middle of nowhere, desperate times call for desperate measures. You've got t-shirts, rip a sleeve off. I mean, it sounds horrible, but I'd rather rip a sleeve off than walk around with poopy buns all day long. You could use a sock. There's all kinds of things. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a plant that grows out here called poison oak. Don't use that. But we do have a plant out here that grows called thimbleberry. And you've probably seen it. They're like nice big green leaves, and they make these kind of weird, gross. They are edible berries, but they're nasty. I don't like them. But it has really nice, soft leaves, and they're big. And you can get like 3 or 4 of those stacked up, and you can do some work with those. The thimbleberry. Google that. Not poison oak. Don't use poison oak. Unless you're into that sort of thing, then knock yourself out. But at the very minimum, get some wet wipes. These are so nice to have when you're camping, not just to clean up the mess, but just to freshen yourself up, and just have them in a Ziploc baggie. Really, really good to have. Now, if you kind of want to elevate your adventure, so to speak, as we say here, there's another kind of a little bit more of a pro level device I like to employ. This is called the Pula Hoop. I wish I had invented this because I'd retire right now, but it's a simple device. And you got a reloadable magazine here, and it's height adjustable. So I can kind of cinch this thing up a little bit if I want to bring this up. That way if I squat down, this is still at a nice respectable height. Because if you lower it down, then it starts getting into the danger zone of getting a little messy. But this is a nice device. Really, really handy to have some paper products on the go. Would you guys like to try a sample?
Sure.
There you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here you are. Anyway, you guys see how easy it is to dispense. I mean, it's just that easy. And what's nice too is, this is for you. This could be for a friend, right? You could dispense for a friend in the moment if you needed to. It's just a nice place to put the paper. It's absolutely, it's a hands-free device. No batteries required. And yeah, it's quick and easy to reload. It's simple, pull it apart. The Pula Hoop, little family-owned business. Give them some support this holiday season. Stocking stuffers, great gift for the whole family. A gift that the whole family can use. Right, so good ways to clean things up. We've got a couple good ways to sit down and do your thing. Also, it's really nice to have a way to wash your hands, because nobody wants to eat that after you've done that. So honestly, we've got two great tanks here this is like primary, like a hand washing station with a little soap dispenser holder, which is awesome, and it's got a tap on it, and then just the traditional jerry can with a tap as well. But what's nice is you can open the tap, get a little bit of water coming out, and now your hand's free. You can wash both hands at the same time with a bit of soap. You're good to go. So don't think about just cleaning your buns. Cleaning your hands is also important. So, we've got the wet wipes, we've got the toilet paper. You're thinking, okay, that was so, 1992. This is kind of the new era of things, right? This is our pressure shower. You put some water in here to your desired temperature and comfort level. You step on this to pressurize the vessel, right? Get some pressure in there. And if it's a bad day and a messy day, you just a little clean up on aisle 2, and you're good to go. Think about that in sort of your camping setup. Try it out at home, like I said, in the backyard. Invite the neighbors over for a barbecue. Do your thing. The final piece of kit that I think is really, really nice, and this really kind of is the game changer for a lot of folks, is you're thinking, okay, Chris, we've got all this great things to do and sit on and enjoy the view, but what if I don't want to enjoy the view and I just want privacy? So that's where our little privacy tent here comes in handy. This can just mount to the side of the vehicle. We've got quick release brackets, right? So you can just click it on, hang it on there. It deploys super quick and easy, and you've got yourself a privacy tent that you can put the toilet in, sit down, do your thing. There's handy pockets in there, and just have a nice quiet moment to reflect on the day's activities, reflect on the world, do a little bit of yoga, whatever you need to do, but you can do it in some privacy. So really, really nice thing to add to the vehicle. And when you pair it with our quick release brackets, that's something that can go from vehicle to vehicle or to the trailer or off the back porch of your house, if you want to do that outside and just kind of keep it natural. But, if you're dispersed camping and you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's just you and the coyotes, they're sitting there without a tent, so, just enjoy it, enjoy the view. But if you're needing some privacy, that ensuite's kind of a game changer, and it's just so easy to deploy. Cooper can back me up on it, he agrees. Yeah, it's like, it was a game changer for my family. That was sort of like the last sort of tipping point of like, okay, family, we're all good to go. We can do this now. Before it was a little, a little dicey, a little touch and go, a little apprehension, but the whole thing is just to make that camping experience more comfortable, because the last thing you want to do is have to tanker the whole thing on a whole weekend trip, because then you get home and you just, your gut's just wrecked. And you don't want to do that. That's no fun. So if you got kids, these are new techniques that you aren't doing at home, hopefully. Unless you are, then they're pros. But, they're going to need a little bit of coaching to kind of go through the process of how to do this. And they're going to be kind of scared and nervous to do it too. So, make it comfortable for the kiddos. Have some fun with it at home if you've got, like a bush toilet or something like that, where you can, make a little fun thing of it and just say, all right, so you're going to sit on this and this is how it goes, blah, blah, blah. But, it's going to be a new experience for them. So with kids, it's good to make them comfortable, honestly, be there to help them if things go south. And that way they can build up that confidence and have a good experience as well. So, if it's a matter of just having something for them to sit on that they're used to, that's good to do. Because the power squat maneuver, a lot of it also depends on the lower garments that you're wearing. If you're wearing a tactikilt, right? You've got a little bit more freedom to work. But with pants or whatever, with jeans, you got to get those things down. And I like to kind of like pull everything forward so I don't get any splatter back, and you don't want to get your pants all dirty. That's no good. But the other thing too is when you're building your hole, you can build a little, like a moat wall, or like a little like a little embankment, just in between the pit that you just dug and your shoes. So that way, if there's any ricochets or stray rounds, they'll stay in the pit instead of jumping out and get you in the back of the feet. Because that's, you don't want that. But yeah, with kiddos, make it comfortable for them, make it easy, rehearse at home if you need to, and that way they're going to have a good experience. Because if they're having a miserable time, then mom and dad probably aren't having a good time, because it's just no fun. So it's all about making that experience better, even for the little guys and gals. Now, these are just some of the techniques and devices. Be careful what you Google. Don't do it on a work computer, as I have. But there are so many cool little attachments and mods and things that you can do to really kind of make that experience pretty dang amazing and pretty comfortable. The last thing I wanted to share is there's actually an app called Poop Maps. And it's kind of a pro level thing. So, dip into that pool carefully, because it's there's a lot going on there. But you basically can map out where you've done your poo. And it'll keep track of that. You can share it with your friends on social media, and it just shows a Google map of little pin drops where you've left your poo drops all around the world. And what's amazing is they even offer in-app purchases. I don't even know what you would buy on that, but apparently there's some things that you can buy. What's also amazing, it has a 4.8 rating. Luke's looking it up on his phone right now. I can see that. It's got a 4.8 rating with like over 50,000 people giving it like at least a 4.8, right? So you can have some fun with it. But the key is to make the experience better, enjoy the go, and just have fun with it. Gentlemen in the audience just asked, how quickly does the bag biodegrade? And the answer is yes. No, so the bags will biodegrade differently depending on the chemical makeup of the contents of what's in said bag, and also the moisture content, both the contents of the bag and the bag's surroundings, the soil makeup, what kind of little bugs and things are in the soil, even microscopic bugs. Those all affect how long it takes. But I think there's a requirement somewhere to use the term biodegradable, and I don't know what that actual standard is, but I think there is actually a standard for something to truly be biodegradable. If you're using the hole digging technique, at the very minimum, if you're digging a hole for depth, is at least the blade depth, right? At least up to the top of the blade. Go deeper if you can. I mean, you don't need to, dig a mining pit. You're not prospecting. You're poo-specting. So, yeah, at least the depth of the shovel blade itself. Get a good dig. I like to actually, when I dig down, I'll dig, nice and deep, stomp on it, and just get a full shovel full, and you can just set that aside and leave it on the shovel. Do your thing, and then just simply go boop, plop it back on, tamp it down, draw a little smiley face in the dirt, and you're off you go. Oh, and then of course drop your pin drop on the poop maps, so you can claim that as your territory. But yeah, at the minimum, try to dig at least the shovel depth. I mean, nothing is more gross than hiking in the backcountry or exploring, and you see somebody's like turd toilet paper kind of flinging off blowing in the breeze. So just bury it good and deep, because animals will dig it up. If you have a dog, it'll dig it up, and nobody wants to see where you've gone. You try to make a game out of it. See if you can, do your thing and bury it, and then have your friends come out and try to find where you went. And if they can't find it, then you've done well. Then you've done it properly. So again, you can have some fun. When determining the hole diameter and the hole depth, one must reflect on the meals that they've enjoyed, and really try to sort of trust your gut and go with your gut. It's more of a gut feeling. She's killing me. She's just busting up laughing. So it's a gut feeling. You want to if you've got a little bubble gut going on, you want to dig that hole and give yourself some room to work. But here's the other thing you got to be careful of. If you dig too big of a hole, if the hole diameter is too wide, you don't want to run the risk of falling in. I mean, that's a bad day after you've dug a hole and falling into it. So again, that's where that shovel technique is really nice. You can get that after you've done your hole digging. You can stake that into the ground, and you can squat down, and you can just kind of use this as a brace to kind of keep your balance, so you're not, you don't want to fall back and, head over heels or heels over your head, and that's just a bad day, especially if somebody can see you. That's just not good. But yeah, trust your gut. I'd say it's a gut feeling kind of thing. Another concern is, what if you didn't quite digest everything, and you ate a bunch of watermelon seeds and they just didn't digest, and now you're pooping watermelon seeds out. What do you do? Safest bet, biodegradable bag. Pack it in, pack it out. Always a good shot there. You can think of yourself as Johnny Appleseed, except in this case it'd be Johnny Watermelon Seed. And you're just planting watermelons everywhere you go. So that can be a method or a tactic. But the safest bet is, use some biodegradable bags and just pack it out if that's a concern. But if you've got a good digestive system, and that sucker is just an iron gut, and it'll break down whatever you shove in it. Who's that guy on the YouTube that he eats light bulbs and stuff? Imagine what he has to deal with. I mean, eating light bulbs and passing that through, that's probably not biodegradable. And that's probably going to take a little bit more than just a few wet wipes to deal with. Probably some bandages. Maybe a trip to the hospital. Right, so what if you're out in the desert? In the desert, there are certain creepy crawlies like rattlesnakes and scorpions and tarantulas. And the last thing you want to do is share a hole with one of those things. There's really like an art and a really sort of like inner zen that you have to kind of go through, a process of just, surveying the land and really kind of finding that perfect spot. You want to judge, what the slope. You don't want to dig a hole on too much of a slope, because then everything will run down into your shoes, and that's not good. Or you're on too much of a slope and you'll fall back. So you really want to find a good spot. And that includes looking to see if some other creature's already dug a hole and is living in it, like a scorpion or a rattlesnake or a tarantula or something horrible, or a badger. I mean, what if you poop on a badger's burrow? He's going to come out and be all kinds of mad, and they're already grumpy creatures. So you don't want that. So you really got to kind of survey the scene, sort of find that perfect spot where you're like, you know what? This place makes sense to me. This is where I will give back what was given to me. Right? Circular, right? Keep the cycle going. Yep. It's like the fast food chain In-N-Out, right? It's very cyclical. Again, it just comes back to the experience, making the experience better, making sure you have the tools and the techniques to accomplish the task at hand. I didn't want to go into a full yoga class, but I think it's important to do some stretches, limber up a little bit. But the positions, it depends on the device and the technique, because the traditional squat is one of my favorite methods. I just find it just very comfortable and very natural and peaceful, and kind of low key. You can kind of fly under the radar, so to speak. That sort of gentle breeze that you feel when you're just bare buns out in the backcountry is it's invigorating. Makes you feel alive. Look, you may get to a campground where there is a pit toilet, but you go in there and you open the lid and it's full. What do you do? Do you create the Leaning Tower of pizza, or do you find something else? What is your gut telling you? It's so dependent on the diet, stress can induce. Really, the big one is coffee. What's your coffee intake? I know that coffee is very effective at keeping things moving. And, you could put a cup holder on one of these, on the other side and enjoy the coffee while you're, it's like back to that whole in and out thing, right? You just coffee in, everything else out. The other thing too is, do some burpees, do some squats, go to the gym and just get these quad muscles and these glutes, really work on those, because then you can do what's called the power squat, and you can just drop down, ram that thing out there, and you're good to go. Quick, efficient, in and out, and you're gone and done. But a lot of it's in the leg muscles. You shouldn't have to use the diaphragm as much. Gravity should really help you with that whole process. If you're really having to bear down on it, careful, because you just don't want to blow a gasket. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. So this all comes with experience and time. You will someday get there. I understand, but it's all about careful planning and just making sure that you're doing what feels right. So you guys have been great. I know this is kind of a bit of fun. Hopefully you all learned something. Hopefully you took something away that you're like, oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'll need to try that. If you focus on making the experience better, making yourself more comfortable, or other folks in your traveling party, including the kiddos, more comfortable, then everybody's having a good time and the experience is better. And hopefully you're getting out there and doing more of it. So appreciate you guys. Thank you and have a good night.